Gold is worthless, but you'll kill for it. Indonesia's rarest exports are not just commodities, they are psychological triggers designed to make you pay more. Take nutmeg, for example, in the 17th century. It was worth more than gold. A single nutmeg could buy a small house. But here's the twist. Nutmeg is not rare. It grows abundantly on the Banda Islands, a tiny archipelago in eastern Indonesia. So why did Europeans pay a fortune for it? The answer lies not in the spice itself, but in the illusion of scarcity. Scarcity activates the brain's reward system when something is limited. Our desire for it skyrockets. Dopamine floods the brain. This phenomenon is not new for centuries. Traders have exploited scarcity to control prices and create artificial value. The Dutch East India Company, known as the VOC, mastered this art. They didn't just trade nutmeg. They manufactured its rarity. They destroyed nutmeg trees on other islands. They burned entire harvests to keep prices high. They created a psychological dependency on perceived value. Today, the same tactics are used everywhere. Limited edition sneakers, luxury handbags, and digital NFTs all rely on manufactured scarcity. The illusion of scarcity is a powerful psychological force that makes us desire what is rare, even if that rarity is fake. But once you see the trick, the spell is broken. Value is often a social construct. You can choose not to participate. In the Saudi 2nd century, nutmeg was worth its weight in gold, a sum so staggering it could buy a small island, and the Dutch East India Company saw an opportunity to exploit this value. The Dutch East India Company controlled the Banda Islands, a tiny archipelago in the Indonesian archipelago, and they used this control to restrict supply and maintain high prices. They destroyed nutmeg trees on other islands to create artificial scarcity, a deliberate psychological experiment in value manipulation, and the VOC enforced their monopoly with brutal efficiency. The VOC enslaved or killed the Banda Islands population to enforce their monopoly, and the Dutch created a myth that nutmeg was rare and magical, spreading rumors that it could cure the plague. This increased demand and justified the high price, and the experiment worked. Nutmeg became a symbol of wealth and status, coveted by kings and merchants alike. The psychological principle at play here is simple. Scarcity increases perceived value, and the Dutch East India Company exploited this principle to create a lucrative monopoly. This historical case shows how value is manufactured, not inherent, and it's a lesson that has been repeated throughout history, from the Dutch East India Company to modern-day luxury brands. The Dutch East India Company's experiment in value manipulation has left a lasting impact on the way we perceive value, and it's a reminder that the value of an item is often subjective and influenced by psychological factors. This understanding of the psychological principles at play can help us make more informed decisions about the value we place on things, and it's a valuable lesson in the power of perception and manipulation. The Dutch East India Company's experiment in value manipulation is a cautionary tale about the dangers of artificial scarcity and the importance of critical thinking in the face of psychological manipulation. As we navigate the complex world of value and perception, it's essential to remember the Dutch East India Company's experiment and the lessons it teaches us about the power of scarcity and manipulation. The legacy of the Dutch East India Company's experiment in value manipulation continues to influence the way we perceive value today, and it's a reminder that the value of an item is often a social construct subject to manipulation and influence. By understanding the psychological principles at play, we can begin to break free from the chains of artificial scarcity and make more informed decisions about the value we place on things. The Dutch East India Company's experiment in value manipulation may seem like a relic of the past, but its influence can still be felt today. And it's a reminder that the value of an item is often a complex interplay of psychological and social factors. By the way, if you like this discussion, don't forget to subscribe. There are many more interesting topics coming up. Light bulb. As we continue to navigate the complex world of value and perception, it's essential to remember the lessons of the Dutch East India Company's experiment and the importance of critical thinking in the face of psychological manipulation. The Dutch East India Company's experiment in value manipulation is a powerful reminder of the dangers of artificial scarcity and the importance of understanding the psychological principles at play in the world of value and perception. By understanding the legacy of the Dutch East India Company's experiment and the lessons it teaches us, we can begin to make more informed decisions about the value we place on things and break free from the chains of artificial scarcity. The brain's reward system is wired to seek rare rewards, releasing dopamine when we anticipate something scarce. This creates a sense of urgency and desire, driving us to pursue what's limited, even if it's not truly valuable. The amygdala reacts to potential loss, making us fear missing out on the rare opportunity. a primal response to scarcity. Scarcity triggers a cognitive bias. We overvalue what's limited, leading us to make irrational decisions based on perceived value. The scarcity heuristic leads us to overestimate the value of rare items, a shortcut in decision making that often leads to regret. Brain imaging shows increased activity in the striatum when scarcity is perceived, the same area activated by addictive substances. Marketers exploit this by creating limited time offers, leveraging our fear of missing out to drive impulse purchases. The brain cannot easily distinguish between real and artificial scarcity, making us vulnerable to manipulation through scarcity tactics. This is why we pay more for exclusive items, even if they are not truly valuable, a psychological trap set by marketers. Understanding this mechanism helps us resist manipulation, taking control of our decisions and values in a world of artificial scarcity. By recognizing the scarcity heuristic and its effects on our brain, we can make more informed choices, avoiding the pitfalls of artificial scarcity. This awareness is the first step to breaking free from the psychological trap of scarcity, taking back control of our values and desires. The brain's reward system, once a powerful tool for survival, has been hijacked by marketers, exploiting our primal fears and desires. It's time to take back control, understanding the brain mechanics behind scarcity and making conscious choices that align with our values and goals. By doing so, we can break the cycle of artificial scarcity, making more informed decisions and living a life that truly reflects our values and desires. This is the power of understanding the brain's mechanics, a key to unlocking a more authentic and fulfilling life, free from the manipulation of artificial scarcity. In the world of luxury branding, scarcity tactics are used to create an illusion of exclusivity and high value. Brands like Hermes and Rolex limit production to maintain exclusivity, creating a perception of high value even if the product is ordinary. This manufactured scarcity taps into the same psychological biases as nothing in the Sadu century, where the Dutch East India Company controlled the supply to maintain high prices. The NFT market is a modern example of this phenomenon, where digital art is infinitely reproducible but NFTs create artificial rarity, tapping into our fear of missing out and our desire for exclusivity. Dark patterns like fake scarcity, countdown timers, and limited editions are used in e-commerce, gaming, and social media to exploit our fear of missing out and our desire for exclusivity. These tactics result in us spending more than we should on items with little intrinsic value, a form of psychological manipulation that can be broken by awareness and critical thinking. The key to breaking free from this manipulation is to recognize the scarcity heuristic in action, pause before making a purchase, and focus on intrinsic value rather than perceived value. Practicing delayed gratification, educating yourself about the psychology of marketing, and using the 10-10-10 rule can also help you regain control over your purchasing decisions. By understanding the brain's mechanisms and being mindful of the tactics used to manipulate us, we can break free from the illusion of scarcity and make more informed decisions. The ultimate defense against scarcity manipulation is to cultivate mindfulness and critical thinking, allowing you to make choices that align with your values and goals. By being aware of the tactics used to manipulate us and making informed decisions, we can regain control over our purchasing power and break free from the illusion of scarcity. The power to make informed decisions lies within us, and by being mindful of the tactics used to manipulate us, we can break free from the illusion of scarcity and live a more authentic life. The next time you're tempted to buy something because it's limited edition or exclusive, remember that the value lies not in the product itself, but in the psychological manipulation that comes with it. By being aware of the tactics used to manipulate us, we can break free from the illusion of scarcity and make more informed decisions that align with our values and goals. The journey to breaking free from scarcity manipulation begins with awareness, and by being mindful of the tactics used to manipulate us, we can take the first step towards a more authentic and fulfilling life. To defend yourself against scarcity manipulation, first recognize the scarcity heuristic in action when making a purchase, and pause to ask if the scarcity is real or manufactured. Next, focus on the intrinsic value of the item rather than its perceived value, and consider whether the benefits outweigh the costs. Practice delayed gratification by waiting before buying limited items, and ask yourself how you will feel in now minutes, now months, and now years. Educate yourself about the psychology of marketing and learn to identify dark patterns such as fake scarcity, countdown timers, and limited editions. Avoid impulse buying by removing saved payment methods and unsubscribe from marketing emails that create a sense of urgency. Remember historical examples, such as nutmeg, which was once precious but is now common, and understand that value is often a social construct. Value is not inherent, but rather a social construct that can be manipulated by marketers and advertisers. By understanding the brain's mechanisms and the psychology of marketing, you can regain control over your purchasing decisions and make more informed choices. The ultimate defense against scarcity manipulation is mindfulness and critical thinking, which allow you to see through the tactics and make choices that align with your values. By being aware of the psychological forces at play, you can develop a more nuanced understanding of value and make choices that are truly in your best interests. Remember, the power to make choices lies within you, and by being mindful of the tactics used to manipulate you, you can take control of your financial decisions and live a more authentic life. So, the next time you're tempted to buy something because it's limited or exclusive, take a step back and ask yourself if you're truly getting value for your money. By being more mindful of the psychological forces at play, you can make more informed choices and live a more authentic, fulfilling life. So, take control of your financial decisions and live a life that truly reflects your values and goals. Welcome. Before we begin, hit subscribe so you don't miss our daily updates. Bell Part 2 is dropping tomorrow. Subscribe for notifications. Loudspeaker.